I think LeBron James is one of the best players I've ever seen. Would I put him in that high level? No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. Maybe that's my age showing. I openly admit it.
How many?
I would take Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson over him every single day. Every single day. Who else would you take over him? What's that?
Who else would you take over him? Because you got to think.
Kobe. Kobe's an assassin, and he'd slit your throat.
I would tell you this: the time and era where they were playing, they weren't. It was big and physical back then, but they weren't doing weight training back then the way that they're doing weight training now. They weren't. Come on now.
No, hey, listen.
And so I can't say that. I hate doing that. I hate doing that generational thing.
I can't stand the generational thing. But I can tell you based on watching them, yeah. But that doesn't take away from LeBron James' greatness. I think, like so many other things, this can be both things can be true. LeBron James is an absolute drama queen. Absolute drama queen. He's also one of the best players I've ever seen. Yeah. Now, let me say this, okay? Can you play that video again?
I'm not going to sit here and let you just dog my guy now. Come on now.
Phenomenal. All right, then I want you to watch this video, and as a professional athlete, you tell me the optics on this, okay? Watch this video. 5:42 left. He's done. He left the bench. His team's getting hammered. He took his ball and went home. You are a drama queen.
Yeah.
What do you think everybody's going to say? People are going to do exactly what we're talking about.
I'm going to tell you right now. He's going to the locker room real quick just to use the bathroom. He's coming right back. He's coming right back.
What if he didn't come right back?
Huh?
He was constipated?
Yeah. He had to go to the bathroom. You telling me, Sean, if you got to go to the bathroom, you got to go, you got to go.
He's a drama queen.
No, he's not. I'll tell you this about last night's game. I want you to understand that LeBron without Anthony Davis is 1-7. Anthony Davis without LeBron is 1-10. They need each other in order to. You can't have one without the other and be successful on the court against a good team like this.
I'm being serious now. You're getting hammered by the Packers. Hammered. Mm-hmm. Okay? Pick a teammate. Calvin. 5 minutes left in the game. You're down 41-17.
Mm-hmm.
This game's over.
Yeah.
Calvin gets up, walks across the bench, doesn't say anything to anybody, gets up, walks across the bench, walks straight into the locker room. How well would that go over?
You can't use that analogy. And the reason, let me tell you why. This is a playoff series, right? This is the playoffs. When you playing football, you only have one playoff game. He's about to go in there, use the restroom, and think about what they have to do in order to get better for Thursday night. Now when I sit here and tell you this was not the Laker team. They weren't communicating. Terrible fundamentals. Fundamental basketball. Not boxing out on the shot. Not finding a body, putting a body on the body. Not communicating. Running to the same guy, leaving the guy wide open. This wasn't the Lakers team that we've seen. And just to commend,
that was the LeBron we've seen.
But to commend the Suns, they were on fire. It was in the second quarter, shooting 58% as a team.
They're up by 30. I mean, second quarter, they're up by 30. It was crazy.
Shooting 58%, right? And then you have just miscommunication. Miscommunication, going to the same guy, not boxing out, okay. Terrible help defense. Now, I would say this, though. Phoenix did a great job. They did a great job with prepping for LeBron. Whenever he went to the top of the key, you will see they went to a zone. You will see that they went to a zone defense to kind of break down on LeBron whenever he came in to try to drive. By far, one of the best drivers in the NBA, if not the best. And so they had a very good strategy on stopping LeBron. And they knew that if they stopped LeBron, they had no one else to come in and win, because whenever Anthony Davis came in and he averaged a double-double, they won. Whenever he didn't average that, they lost.
You are doing a fantastic job of trying to take the focus off of what everybody's talking about. No, bravo! I give you credit.
The frustration.
But what's the story of that story? What's the story of that game?
He went to the bathroom.
What's the story of that game? Seriously.
The story of that game is shut down LeBron. Shut down. No. Shut down.
He'll leave because he's not happy.
No. Shut down LeBron, and then when you go to the defensive side, and you guys don't play defense as a team and talk and communicate.
Give me my respect.
He's a man.
Give me my damn respect.
He got it. He got it. What you talking about? LeBron is the man.
Respect.
He went to 9 finals in a row. Like, what do you want from him?
What do you
want from him?
That's his quote, not mine.
What do you want from him?
Okay, then don't yell at me.
I'm just asking.
That's what Bronny said.
What do you guys want from him?
That's what LeBron said. LeBron James, when they won the title, sat in front of the cameras, just like I'm looking in the camera right now, and said, give me my respect. When do I get my damn respect? How about you stay on the bench with your team so we don't have to have conversations like this? And I want you to remember, he's the best of his generation. Well, he and Kobe. He's phenomenal. I'm not taking anything away from his game. Nothing. What I am saying is he's a drama queen. And Exhibit 729 is what happened last night. People are going to hammer you when you do that. You know it, I know it.
Hey, tell me another player that's been to the final that many times in a row. Just give me one.
Tell me another player that walks off his bench with 5:42 to go in a game.
Tell me a player. Hey, tell me a player that walks out the locker room and makes a person get up out the seat because he wasn't there on time because he wasn't playing in that game.
I should have taken my Metamucil.
Huh?
I'm congested.
I'm not gonna sit here and let you dog around like that.
Yeah, I'm not.
You know what it is, though?
Great player.
He's not going to get his flowers. It really does. He's not going to get his flowers until he's done. He's retired.
No. Here's
that's what's going to happen.
This goes back to the conversation we just had, Joy. Like seriously, I want you. You're not. He's a great player. That was a brutal scene. The optics are horrible. When you leave the bench with 5:42 to go because you're getting hammered, do you think people are going to bring you a bouquet of flowers?
He was going to the restroom.
Dear Bronny, I hope your constipation is gone. Try Metamucil. Love, Shawnee. He's a baby.
Miralax, but hey.
Yes, Arthur.
To me, and I don't understand how many times we have to have this conversation, but what about professional accountability? Like, you're a professional, sure, you have all the titles, you have all the rings, I get that, that's amazing. But leaving your team behind and pissing away the last couple minutes of the fourth because you didn't get what you want because Davis is out, I mean, that to me, he's whined and complained about so many things.
Define get what you want. Define it.
What's that? Defining do what you want and being there for your team are two different things. If your team is losing, I don't care if it's by 100. You stand with your team.
Exactly.
You stand with your team. You don't
It's not about losing. It's not about losing because they have lost many games and he's never left the bench. Many games.
Right. So it should be every game.
No.
It's
listen.
personal accountability.
So you're gonna listen or no? You gonna talk? Or
I forgot. You should raise your hand. Go ahead.
You gonna let me talk? I gotta raise my hand.
Go ahead, Joe.
All right. So the thing is, it wasn't. I'm gonna tell you right now. Me watching that game is not that they lost. It's the way that they lost. That he was disgusted and didn't want to see anymore. Teammates were not doing what they were supposed to do, period. They weren't. But he's not going to say that.
It's not the first time he did.
He's not going to say it, though. He's not going to say it.
No, he's going to take his ball and go home.
When J.R. Smith took the ball off the rim, off the free throw, and didn't shoot, did he throw him under the bus? Yes or no? Did he throw him under that? Out of any time in your career, he should have threw him under the bus.
You justifying what is absolutely wrong is fascinating to me. No, I mean, especially considering we just had that like, if you're a human being right now, this goes back to what we started with earlier. If you're a human being and you can't look at that and go, "Wow, that's a bad look," then we live on a different planet. You can attempt any justification. Like I saw Steve.
Look at John.
Steve said, I guarantee his teammates didn't have a problem with it. That's not the point. Is that right? Y or N?
It's right.
The answer is no. You don't leave the bench with 5:42 to go in the game.
Okay, let me give you a perfect example.
And if you do, you have to accept the fact that you're going to get your ass kicked today by people like me.
I'm going to tell you this. If I had teammates who are playing terrible defense, not communicating, and just playing like they don't give a F, I would do the same thing. There's no way that I worked as hard. I would do the same thing.
Hold on. On that note, watch me.
Send us the break. Send us the break, Drake. You done did it.
Sean's going to the bathroom, so I think he's constipated. So he'll be back shortly.
Say Woodward Sports.
Hey, no, Sean believes in Drakeville here on Woodward Sports. Stay tuned. Yeah, did you hear that?
I did.
Yeah.
Why is the camera on me? Yeah. Kennedy.
Turn it to saying.
No, I think, Kenny, here's a great question. Because you know what you did? You evoked one of Joik's favorite people.
I know.
And who's a wonderful man.
That's what I'm saying. He's a nice guy, so I'm wondering how he would have handled the situation.
Yeah.
So
ask the question.
What if you acted that way and you walked out on the Lions? What would Coach Caldwell do?
I just told you I can't compare that to the NBA.
Why? Why not?
Because listen,
the Lions lost all the time.
Listen, it's 17 games. Listen, it was 16 games, right? 17 weeks, and we get the playoffs. Depending on who you are, you have 4 games to 3 games in the postseason. It's not a series; it's one game.
Okay.
And so he has another opportunity to go out there. You don't have that same opportunity. Like say the series was 3-3, and this was like Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's terrible. It's a bad look. Okay, it's a bad look. I'm not saying he should have did it, but I'm saying it's different. He had to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna keep using that one.
Okay, well,
I wouldn't do that.
I'm glad to hear you say it's a bad look.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look, but still the greatest. He's still one of the greatest. He's the best of this generation. Like
all of that is true.
Now, bad look, but at the end of the day, he was disgusted with what he saw in the court. I was too. As a fan, you'll be disgusted. Just fundamental basketball. It wasn't happening. Have you ever seen White Man Can't Jump? Have you ever seen that movie? No, real talk. Have you seen that movie, White Man Can't Jump? All right. So you remember how him and Wesley Snipes were a team, and they'll go around and hustle people. And so there's one particular game, Wesley Snipes played terrible. He wasn't playing defense, rudimentary stuff. Basically, that's what happened. That's kind of what happened last night. They wasn't doing the fundamentals. They weren't. And at the end of the day, he ended up hustling him out of his money, his own team.
You guys are learning something at home today, too. I don't know if you know this, okay? We're like in a Petri dish. I didn't even realize we're in a Petri dish, okay? This is why narratives exist, okay? What's happening today, all right? The media guy is the bad guy for calling him out, and the athlete who sticks up for him, athletes always stick up for themselves. We are following that narrative right now. We are. Whether we want to admit it or not, like the realization just hit, we're the bad, and Joik, you know what? You did it complete with the line, when are you going to give him his flowers? I don't know how else to say this. He's one of the best. I don't put him in the tippy top, like the top of the pyramid. He's one of the best that I've ever seen. But that doesn't mean that we can't call out even the best, right? That was a bad look. That was drama. That was... my personal opinion, now this is where opinion is going to enter the equation. My personal opinion is LeBron did that knowing full well that everybody would be talking about him today. That's my personal opinion. And you're never going to convince me otherwise.
He's not thinking about that during the game.
Oh, yes, he is.
He's not thinking about that during the game.
He's not thinking so about that well thought out. And
that's what I tell you.
He's not thinking about holding a TV show to announce where he's going next. Who would do something like that?
What's wrong with that, though?
I think LeBron James is a hell of a lot smarter than people give him credit for. I'll be honest with you.
But what's wrong with that?
Except he needs to educate himself on like China, but that's a different story for a different day.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, but when you do that, you also have to know people are going to go, you egomaniac. Everything is about you. Everything is about you. And you have to live with that. And that's LeBron James. Hi, Fish.
Hello, everybody. Joik, so you say LeBron's been to 10 finals. What more do you want? Winning!
How many rings does he have?
He has 4.
Okay.
Last time I checked, that's 40%.
He's gone.
He's gone what? He's gone to the...
You know what's crazy?
You know what's crazy? You don't want to go to the finals and lose, Joik.
You know what's funny?
You want to win.
So are those shots at me or are those shots at LeBron?
They're both.
Huh?
The shots at you because you said that statement. The shots at LeBron because he's gone to 4 finals and he's 40%.
You know what, Stick? You know what you said will never light a candle in me or LeBron. You know why? Because no matter what you say, you'll never be there.
I don't want to be there.
I did.
You obviously said.
I did. I'm not going to lie.
Winning. That's what I want. I want to see him win more.
I wanted to hold the Stanley Cup over my head just one time.
I don't want a stupid NBA ring. I want to be here talking about him, not winning.
Makes no sense.
He walked out on his team.
And this is why the media talks about him.
You know he didn't go to the bathroom. Oh, he just went to the bathroom.
Oh, don't go. He has nobody to blame but himself.
Why?
He got up and left the bench with 5:40 to go.
Went to the bathroom.
They wouldn't put the camera on him if they didn't know he was going. Every single player in the whole stadium knew he was leaving. Every single person who was leaving.
Going to the bathroom.
Camera people put him on him because they knew he was leaving. The director went to, well, let's see what LeBron James is doing.
I have very, very close sources that say he was going to the bathroom.
Well, I don't trust those
he
sources.
did that before, too, as I recall. Yeah. Remember, he did it against the Celtics. He took off his jersey, and he had to show everybody how ripped he is first. That's key, right? It's just like when I come in every day and I take my shirt off and, guys, I'm sorry. You have to show everybody how ripped you are first. And then he had to leave the court. Do you remember he took off his jersey and he left the court against the Celtics in that series?
That was when he went to the Heat, right?
Yeah, he was with the Cavs at the time. Yeah, he was with the Cavs.
He was with the Cavs, but then he left the Knicks.
Yeah, and it's just like, what do you think people are going to say?
So how do we have this? How do we have this in the script that he started the player empowerment with players talking to each other to team up? He started that. So he started that.
I think a lot of people look, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's fair.
No, time out. Can I say something?
Yeah.
My hand's up. How can he work with other players when he's leaving the bench and giving up on games? That to me isn't a team environment.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with what I just said?
It seems like
what did that have to do with what I just said? I just said, what does that have anything to do?
You spend more time defending athletes.
You know, he's like athletes. He's like athletes after the game. How do you feel about this loss today?
It's accountability.
How do you feel about Kelvin Johnson's play today on this loss? You know, I think I could have played better. What does that have to do with anything?
You just said that LeBron was the leader of what you were just talking about in the prep right here, right? So why would you have a leader
about players teaming up to go play with one another on a team? You're talking about the game last night.
Yeah, why would I want to play with somebody who's going to leave the fucking bench?
Because you've been in 10 finals.
Why would I want to be a part of that?
Because he's been in 9 finals in a row.
Oh, and he missed this one because he fucking left. He left.
The finals not been here yet.
Joik, why do you spend so much time defending athletes?
That's not a leader. I'm sorry.
That's not.
When you leave the bench with 5:40 to go,
I'm not talking about being a leader. I'm not talking about none of that. What I'm talking about is how did he become the person to start this new era of basketball with players teaming up and forming these super teams? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, and I'll talk about this.
So how did he start that?
How did he start that?
Yeah. How did he start that?
Oh, I think Brooklyn Nets did a better job at starting that. Obviously.
You know what?
I mean, look at their current roster now.
This goes back to
the Warriors.
This goes back to
the Warriors too.
And the Celtics.
This goes back to Dwayne Wade and Bosh and the super team, and we're gonna win 7-8. And I'm serious. I'm gonna get LeBron's back here. Yeah. I don't think it's fair to blame LeBron for that. I really don't, because that stuff, it's open collusion is what it is. Let's be honest. You know how for years a lot of athletes got mad at owners colluding, and they did. Okay, now the athletes, at least in the National Basketball Association, in a certain regard, have kind of taken back some of that power. But let's call it's collusion. It is collusion. It's openly colluding. I mean, and it's not exactly a secret either. But it started before LeBron. I read a story yesterday, just yesterday.
Yeah, it started before LeBron. That's
and
what I'm saying. So
I didn't I'm not joking. I didn't mean to read this yesterday because I didn't think I'd talk about it. But just yesterday, there was a story about Bill Walton. And Bill Walton was later in his career, and, you know, he had been obviously one of the all-time greats, but at the end of his career, the injuries caught up to him and everything. And he basically had a choice between the Lakers and the Celtics. And although the Lakers had a better team, the Celtics really showed great interest in him to the point where Larry Bird told their famous owner, Red Auerbach, pick him up now. Not have the doctors look at him, not let's see if this fits, pick him up now. So you know what the Celtics did? They picked him up and they squeezed one more championship out of that regime. One more championship out of that regime. Now, the Lakers went on to win the next couple of years after that, including beating the Celtics one year, but that stuff has been going on for a long time. The difference with LeBron, this is
you have social media now, so it's bigger.
You know what?
That's what it is.
They didn't hide it. They openly, LeBron made the choice
you know why he didn't hide
to put on a television show called The Decision. And there was nothing else like that before. Nothing. So
there's been nobody else bigger than him before.
Once that happened, a lot of people are going to use LeBron as patient zero. And this is where I'll get LeBron's back. I don't think that's fair because this shit's been happening a lot longer than LeBron. But LeBron's the one that brought it out from the dark into the light.
You know why?
So people are going to blame him for that. That's just the way it is.
And that's cool. They can blame him. They just got to do their research. That's all. You know. And another thing is you have social media now. You have a guy that has 50, 60 million followers, right, that has access to him 24/7 by just going to his page. They didn't have that back then. They didn't. I'm telling you right now, social media is at its peak now.
Is player empowerment an issue in the NBA? For those of you that watch the NBA incessantly, I always say this, okay? And look, the sports plate, my sports plate is full mostly of hockey this time of year. I'm not going to lie to you, point blank. Just the same as your sports plate might be full of the NBA, your sports plate might be full of baseball. My sports plate's full of the National Hockey League. So I don't watch the NBA enough to make a broad brush statement like that. But it's out there. The question is out there. Is player empowerment an issue in the NBA? We'll get into that when we come back. Woodward Sports.
Bridge Street Exchange, downtown Fenton. I'm trying to find me a shirt. Ooh, look at these swimming shorts. What are you doing over there, Stick?
I'm trying to find me a drink. Ooh, look at these bonfire bitters.
Ready for summer.
Let's go.
Hey guys, I'm D-Mac.
Hey guys, I'm Pilar.
That was a little slow.
All right.
Hi, I'm D-Mac.
I wasn't ready. I was doing this.
Hi, I'm D-Mac.
Hey, I'm Pilar.
I'm Maz. You're lit. Hi, I'm D-Mac.
I'm Pilar.
I'm Maz. We suck.
You suck.
Catch us Monday to Friday, 3 to 5.
Every day right here on The Hook.
On Woodward Sports Network.
So for years, Papa Sean's going to give you an education for you youngins out there. For years, owners had players over the barrel and took advantage of players. For years. It happened. It's real. Let's not mince any words. People that grew up in my generation, I watched athletes being taken advantage of by owners time and time again. I watched it. I saw it, okay? What happens is there was an era of, self-awareness. And players started to realize their worth. And players started to realize they have a lot more power than they think. So like so many other things, the pendulum started over here where the owners really had players over the barrel. Whether you want to admit it or not, I don't give a shit. That's the way it is. Owners were really taking advantage of players for a long, long time in many sports, okay? Look up Kurt Flood in free agency in baseball and thank me later, okay? But the pendulum has gone like this in so many regards. And I'm going to use something near and dear to my heart. And I even had this conversation with Darren McCarty about this. A few years ago, you might remember, there was a strike in the National Hockey League. This time it was a lockout. One of the key points of contention, I'm not making this up. If you want to fact check me, you go right ahead and fact check me. One of the key points of contention was revenue sharing. Now, when you hear the word revenue share, what do you think? Right? If I have a pizza in here, Joik, and there are 6 slices in here, and it's just you and I, you know what I'm going to say? Joik, here's 3 slices for you and 3 slices for me, right? Mm-hmm. Revenue sharing, in theory, should be 50-50, right?
Right.
All right?
It's not that.
The owners were bad guys, and the fans were on the player's side because the owners had the audacity to ask for, I'm not making this up, fact check me, 46% of the pie as opposed to 42% of the pie. They were bad guys. People were pro-player. And again, in society, what do? Do we relate to the rich guy sitting up in the box, or do we relate to guys like Joik? You know, guys that we've watched with our own 2 eyes grow up, turn himself into a world-class athlete, dominate in college and go to the NFL. Well, we more relate to that guy. But I think what people do is automatically, old rich guy bad, young entitled athlete good, right?
Well,
if people take the time to look at this, and I told you this, I'm not going to name him, but if you think real hard, you can figure out who it is. I talked to an owner of a National Hockey League team, and the owner of the National Hockey League team said to me, I have accepted that I'm going to lose money every year. I've accepted that. Now, I want you to think about that business joint now. I've accepted I'm going to lose money every year. I just don't want to bleed money. He's a bad guy. Think about that. Think about that. He's a bad guy. Hey, guys, you know what? Instead of you guys getting 58% of the revenue, can we get 54%? That way, instead of bleeding money, I'm only just losing money. But again, in today's society, owner bad, player good. That's all real. That's 100% real. Now, again, as a businessman,
I got to look at the books.
Oh, you're going to have to try. Don't say that. Anybody who's a fan of the National Hockey League will know why you shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I know. You got the two books.
Do you know what the Players Association did? It was the worst mistake they ever made. They said, show us your books. And the NHL went, okay. And then they found the answers they didn't like. That's real. And the president of the Players Association lost his job because of it. True story. Ask Bob Goodnow about the books. He probably won't talk about the books. But you're absolutely right. That's the card that so many people do. All right, show me your books. And the NHL went, cool, here you go. How long do you need? And that was so again, I want to be crystal clear here. That doesn't mean that the owners are always right, because the owners have had players over the barrel for years. And the owners, especially in the NFL, the whole lack of guaranteed money is bullshit. It's some serious bullshit. But oftentimes what happens in these conversations is the player's always going to take, or the average human being is always going to take the owner's side or the player's side. And it's not always the case. So I think in recent years, and Joyke, you tell me if I'm wrong, with the exception of being the NFL, because you guys really need to take more back.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I'm about to say the NFL.
The NFL needs to take more back. The NBA, Major League Baseball in a certain regard, and yes, the National Hockey League, have seen the players take a lot of the power back, which has led many people to say that NBA players are now empowered, entitled, colluding together. What do you say about that as an athlete?
It's good to be on the other side, ain't it? It's good to be on the other side, right? And so I remember I was in the car with a gentleman who has a lot of power, right, in the NBA, and it was a situation that happened where he said, took place in the car over a phone call, a trade, and he said, don't say anything about this. It hasn't happened yet. Just watch ESPN tomorrow. And the next day I watched, actually SportsCenter. He said, watch SportsCenter. And I watched it the very next day, and the deal that he was putting together in the car happened right on TV. I saw it right before it happened, and I was like, wow, this is how you guys deal with players. So you guys can just trade players overnight, and the players have no say-so. And so at that point in time, it was eye-opening to me just how these people really own you. I mean, I know you're their player, so they own your contract. So in retrospect, they own you. So if we don't want you anymore, we want you to go to, say, we want to trade you from LA to the Celtics. I don't have to call you and tell you that. You know, there's one with Cousins. With Cousins, he was doing an interview and got traded during the interview. He didn't even know it. They came and told him during the interview. No decency, no professional courtesy. Just go over there and they got your contract now, and good luck to you. Not even that. Just he's doing an interview. He was sitting there, and somebody came and whispering in his ear during the interview. He said, "Oh, I didn't know that." Well, you know, it's good to be here, you know, in New Orleans, you know, and start. It's weird how they just control you like that.
Can I ask you a question? And I'm not being a smartass when I ask this question, okay? It's going to sound like a smartass question, but this is a sincere question, Joyke. Athletes in my opinion, and I've talked to you about this privately, it's a business. You guys know this. It's a business.
Right.
Okay?
Is
there a line between business and personal?
Is it business where one person's making all the decisions? Is that business?
Is it personal then if they don't call you first? If you found out the Detroit Lions traded Joik Bell to Phoenix,
I would take it personal.
You're going to the Cardinals.
I would take it personal.
Okay.
For a person, now it depends.
That's why I wasn't being a smartass.
I'm saying I would take it personal if I didn't get called into, like for instance, before they let me go, before we decided to part ways, mutual agreement, we had numerous conversations before that even happened. Numerous, right? Even me going in to the office before we made the final decision. And so, with that being said, they handled my contract differently, right? But was it a respect thing? Did they do that with everyone who they let go? No. But I think depending on your position with the team, your position in the community, and what you mean to the community, they'll handle those with care.
I agree with you.
Yeah. And so depending on who you are, for sure. Like, and I had ties to the community, so yes, like call me into the office and let's talk about it.
If I was a general manager, the first person, well, I can't say the first person because the first person would be the guy that I just traded you to. The second person that I would call was Joik Bell. Joik, we love you. I don't know how else to say this. This was a great deal for us. Maybe a change of scenery is good for you.
I might be third person because you're going to call my agent first, and then, then you're going to call me.
But, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't, that's why I, like, I don't know. I think it's a silly question because has it hurt the National Basketball Association? It may rub people the wrong way, but has it hurt the National Basketball Association? Things are kind of going up for the NBA, right? I mean, there's a lot of money involved in the NBA. So has it hurt the NBA? The optics may look bad, but has it hurt the NBA? Has it hurt owners' bottom line? I don't know. I don't know those answers.
The NBA, no. Actually, I think they're going up in revenue. If we can look that up for just to fact check.
I don't think it's hurt them.
But with their new CBA or their new collective bargaining agreement, I think they get 50% of TV money.
I hate the idea of super teams, though. I got to be honest with you. I do. I hate it. I don't think it's good for a group of 5 teams. But if you are another team, if you're the Utah Jazz, if you're the Detroit Pistons, you're watching all these teams. You don't have to worry about a rebuild because Joik is going to call 2 of his boys, and they're just going to replace the old crew that were with the Lakers before. I just don't think that's good for the whole league. I just don't. I've always felt that way. I don't think it's good for the whole league.
So what's the super teams in the league right now?
No, the idea of the super team, starting with the conversation. Like, for example, what they did down in Miami with Bosh and Dwayne and LeBron. And then LeBron can say, well, I'm going to go to Cleveland and I'm going to win and then I'm going to turn around and go to L.A. and win. Or like what the Nets are doing. Because what I'm looking at, if I'm a Utah Jazz fan, if I'm a Detroit Piston fan, I'm going to sit back and say, none of these boys are going to get together, collude, and come to Detroit. We have to build the old-fashioned way and hope that we get ourselves, a stud draft choice, and hope that stud draft choice after a few years doesn't leave via free agency and join one of those super groups. You know what I mean? I don't think it's good for the whole of the league. I just don't.
Listen, or become that stud that everybody wants to play with.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
Detroit, unfortunately, isn't that destination, and that's what's sad. And as Steve said, I mean, Brooklyn's hot. It's New York. It's the bright lights, and everybody, who doesn't want to go there? So
I'm gonna tell you right now, with everything that's going on with the super team, and have to rebuild the old way, these GMs are going to drink themselves to sleep.